But hey man, it's good to see you again. It's been a little while. What's how you been? Good?
It's been a good year. Well, I would say the last half of it has been good. But yeah, things are uh, better than they have been in a very, very long time. Upstairs, mentally, uh, like we were saying earlier, my last year was my mental health year. Yeah, I'm glad for me to see I've moved past that now. And yeah, I just finished a awesome 38 date USA tour, and it was amazing. And I'm ready to get to Australia and show you what we did on this. This has been a we had 38 shows of practice, so we're ready.
Man, that's awesome. I can't wait to see you down here, especially because you're coming back to Australia to celebrate 21 years of Beyond the Valley of the Murderdolls, and of course, Women and Children Last as well. Both incredible, timeless albums. I mean, how was it revisiting that material? I mean, have you fallen in love with it all over again, digging into that catalog?
Yes, I have. Also it was it was a challenge for me because when we did the first album, that was my first time doing that. I didn't know the things I know now, and I mean that with the way I sing and the way I perform. Like the way I sound is an unusual thing that I'm able to do. People have tried to explain how I do it,
Hmm.
but I what I didn't know in the beginning was how to take care of it. So I could, go in the studio and hear myself perfectly and sing great, and then I could go on stage and have a killer show and be so into it, I blow my voice out. So
Yeah.
struggle back in the days when I watch old videos of the, Murder Dolls in 2002 and 2003. I'm like, oh man, I didn't sound so good. So it was me this time. I wanted to sound like the record. This is like my revenge, I guess, on the music in a way. So, and it was a challenge, like at first, at rehearsal, I nailed it. First show, I adrenaline kicked in and I went, whoa, how can I do this? And I started reverting back to the way I used to sing. And I went, oh, this is something I had to fight. And I fought it for like 2 weeks. And I was able to finally uh, learn how to do it correctly again. So I kind of had to learn how to do it all over again. It wasn't just singing the songs. These songs are energetic. I cannot sit still and sing them. At rehearsal, I did. When I got on stage, I went for it and I realized really quick, ooh, how am I going to, because these songs were recorded the first album 20 years ago,
Yeah.
21 years ago. And my high range was, it's something I can do. I definitely can still do it, but it's not as easy to do as it was back then. And that's the main part of those songs. So to be able to still hit that register and still be active was something it took me about 2 weeks in the tour to really learn how to do it. And now I finally mastered it. So I'm ready, but it was just so weird. I definitely didn't think it was going to be easy. Just because those songs, I pushed it. There was, I'm
Mm.
really happy with my vocals on the albums. And I didn't phone it in. I went for it, and I had Joey pushing me on different levels to do things I wouldn't normally do. So it was fun to revisit it, and yeah, after 38 shows, I got it.
That's awesome, man. And it is a physical thing. People don't realize, like, singers don't just use it's not just not in the voice. It's like sometimes I say it's like electricity through your body. You're
Yeah,
like you can't sit still. So to sometimes get that performance out, you need to throw your body
yeah,
into it physically and to contort and things. People don't
yeah.
realize that.
It's crazy. Like I just got home yesterday, or actually on Sunday,
Mm.
and I was, you know, I'm I was able to watch a couple of videos like on my television where I was, other than my phone, I got to watch the show, and there's stuff that I'm doing and I'm just like, don't even realize I'm doing that. It's a physical thing that I get into. I was watching, like I started noticing about a week into the tour, I started doing these kicks on every other song, and I'm like, I don't even know how I'm doing it. It's just doing it. It wasn't like a planned thing. My body just does this kick. And it's almost like a reflex. And then I started working it into the show. So I've got this new kung fu kick that I've worked into the songs. And yeah, man, it's just been a super energetic thing. And it was, and even for the guys too, because the band, I got to give them credit. They killed the music on this. Just every aspect of it. I mean, there's every note is on there. Our drummer Mike, he really focused on the drumming that Joey did on those records. And the cool thing about those records is just going back to listen to it after having some time off from it and just hearing the energy of the drums on those records. It's I guess the word I started using was spastic. The drums are just spastic. It's just so much of this. And it's perfect. And that was something that I was like, this has to focus in. That was the main thing, was to get the music perfect, and then we'll figure out how to move around it. And that's kind of how this tour was, because we don't spend a lot of time rehearsing, unfortunately, because none of us live in the same place. So we got a week to learn it. And, so I've watched some videos, and I could even see as we went on tour, I'm like, week 1, we're pretty good. Week 2, we're really good. Week 3, we're killing it. 4, 5, and 6, get out of the way. We're destroying everything. It was just, and that was a killer feeling. And I think a lot of bands do that. You start off warming up, and by the end of a tour, you're firing all cylinders. You're like, oh, I got to go home now. Like, fuck.
Yeah, you're like, I just honed it in.
Yeah.
Just got my wet. Yeah. No, I had a jam like that last night. We hadn't jammed in a while, and then you go, oh, it's a bit rusty. And then by the end of it, you're like, all right, we're back at it. It's time to go home. You're like,
You got to kick the dust off sometimes. So
yeah, that's it. That's it. Blow out the cobwebs. But mate, it's definitely a generational thing I notice now too. You're probably seeing it over there. You're getting parents and kids with their siblings and stuff like that. I think maybe it could be Spotify, people discovering bands. Are you finding that now that people are coming and going, you weren't even born when this album came out?
yes, I mean, I'm completely overwhelmed by the amount of young fans.
Mm.
And when I say young, because I'm 47, and I mean young, like, under 25 or 25, and under. Like, there's kids I see with the X's on their hands because they can't drink and they're at our shows. And every day I do VIP meet and greets every day, and I meet a ton of fans, and most of them were young fans with their mothers or fathers. And it was just every single day. There wasn't one show that I recall that there wasn't a kid on some parent's shoulders. I mean, like a kid,
Mm.
wearing the ear protection. Like, it was, and I guess I didn't think about it till I was on the plane ride home. I was like, some of my dialogue between the songs are, I talk about
Yeah.
necrophilia. I talk about, it's a giant chant for getting the word fuck going. And I'm just like, oh, there's a 7-year-old kid. Even my granddaughter was at one of our shows, and she was on the shoulders as well, and she's doing
Oh,
this. I'm like, oh my God, it's come full circle. But it's a great feeling, and I love it, man. It's it when I first started doing this, even before Murderdolls, when I
mm.
first, the idea of creating this kind of music and the style and the lyrics and everything, I had so many people saying, this is stupid, this isn't going to work, and playing in the venues I was playing in my town, it felt like it wasn't working because no one got it. But I knew there was an audience for it. And when Joey took the interest in the music and was like, this is really cool stuff, let's he wanted to, I think he heard what it could be,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted to Dr. Frankenstein it, and that's what he did. And to know 21 years later that there's a whole new army of kids You know, I say it every night on stage. I like thank you all for 21 years, and for you younger fans, you're probably going to give me 21 more. So thank you.
I think that's true immortality, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm wearing my Vlad Dracula shirt today too.
Hey, hey,
Yes. Yeah.
hey, that's hey man. It's a beautiful thing. And another thing that I do like is how you guys have been honoring both Joey and Ben on the drum skins too.
Yeah.
That is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. It was it was the first time I saw it, it was breathtaking. So it was just something I got used to. But when I would look at it on stage sometimes every night, it was a different emotion every night. But never was it not a feeling, you know. So and the fans loved it. It was just a ultimate tribute to them, you know. And
Yeah.
so it was cool, you know. And I didn't dwell. I didn't make the show a sad event or anything like that. It's a celebration, you know. But it was emotional. Some nights were more than others, and but there was definitely something in the room every night with people, and I got to see that, and it was a really cool thing. It was something I wasn't expecting, and just this was one of the best tours I can recall, and that I can, you know, just it was everything. And to know we're going into Australia just at the first of the year, and then we're going into Europe, and I've got a whole year planned to do it everywhere, all over the world. It's just I can't wait. I'm super excited. And you know, touring was getting to a point where it wasn't fun for me.
Mm,
And now it's fun again. We just did 50 days on the road, and there was no shows canceled. I didn't cut one song on the set list. The set list was an hour, 45 minutes every night or longer, depending on how much I talked. 20 Murderdoll songs for the full set. And it was great. I felt like we did it justice. And you could just see the smile on everyone's face every night. It was you know, it was hard to keep my demeanor, my when all I wanted to do was smile,
yes.
because yeah.
Oh man, are there any of those Murder songs that you feel not only helps you connect with the fans playing it live, but also I guess brings back a connection to those times, especially when the album dropped and it was all fresh and it was all new. You know, I could imagine some of those would be, you know, as you said, quite emotional and a celebration.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of songs that, I mean, everyone liked all the songs on the set list, but there's certain ones that'll just pop out, like off the most recent Murder Dolls record, like Summertime Suicide
Mhm.
and Nowhere. Those two just pop. 1976 off the first one. Die My Bride. Fuck is this, that is like our We Will Rock You,
Yeah.
you know. um, but the one song that was really just surprising to me, and it just almost made me just go, "Hey, idiot, why didn't you do this before?" Was our White Wedding cover of Billy Idol. We that I haven't played that song, uh, you know, in a set with my band since Murder Dolls played it back in 2003, and that was a bonus track on the re-release, and it blew up right when the band stopped. So you know, we had the internet, but it wasn't like it was now. You couldn't see how much it had done. Like, it charted in the UK. I don't know what it did in Australia, but it did great. It got us a silver record in the UK like almost instantly. We were in the top 40. We were on their huge show, Top of the Pops. It was a cool thing, but I didn't know a whole lot about it. So the buzz. So either way, when Murder Dolls got back together for the Women and Children Last, we didn't put that song on the set list because we didn't really like playing it before, because it was we were such an energetic, crazy band. Playing that song and playing all those notes correctly was a gamble every night. So it was just kind of like we didn't have a good experience playing it before, and I somehow Joey and I we talk each other out of just putting it on the set list. So what I'm saying is we didn't play that song. I didn't know the reaction we would get. And the very first show when we went into that song, it was just like, and I was like, whoa, what's happening here? I mean, you could just feel it.
Yeah.
Every, every single night on this tour, the same thing. We play that song. It's not our song, it's our version of it.
Mhm.
But the reaction was just like everybody was singing it. They already knew the song probably from Billy Idol, but like it was just it was such a cool thing. It made me realize, like, man, this is kind of like our hit song. If you ever want to say we had a hit, and I didn't play it for 20 years, what the fuck's wrong with me? So that was every night. I really look forward to that song. Although I got to wait till the very end of the show to play it, but um, yeah, that's one. It's just it's new for me. So I guess the energy I get off that is still new, and it feels great every night. It just never fails. And then Dead in Hollywood as well. That song was the first single, and we save that one usually for the last, and it just it seals the deal. It ties the room together. And man, it's been a blast. I'm glad I'm home for a bit to chill out for Christmas, but I, I can't wait. I mean, our first tour is gonna be Australia, and I hate to say it, America, but Australia, even though it's 5 shows, it's going to destroy this tour. I just know the energy there is. If it was like that here, I can't imagine what it's going to. I am imagining, but I'm ready. And I hate the summertime, and I'm still excited to go there. So I'm ready. I'm ready, Australia.
We're ready. I tell you what, man. In regards to that white wedding, did you ever hear from Billy Idol about it? Did he ever get in touch and give you the old thumbs up?
There's a story. I'll try to make it quick. When we were making the video concept ideas, uh, the label just kept shooting down all the ideas Joey and I had. We had this dark gothic wedding in a church, and everybody's in red and black, and everybody in the pews are skeletons, and we wanted Billy Idol to be the guy marrying this couple or whatever, or the wedding band or whatever. They're like, oh, that's too dark and weird. And either way, the video that you see, the American Idol parody, was the final thing that I just said as a joke. I went, well, we're not agreeing on anything, so why don't we just do a fucking dumb parody of American Idol? That show sucks. And they went, that's a great idea. And I went, okay. So then everyone was all behind it. And the money, oh, we'll put a little extra money, but this is a good idea. And then it became, oh, well, let's get Billy Idol to be one of the judges on the video. We're like, cool. Well, if he wants to do that, that'd be great. And I don't know what had happened. I never saw the email. This is what I heard through management or whatever. But apparently it was a real deal. He was pissed off about it. Not the song, but the offer, whatever was submitted to him for his part in the video. He Whoever he was offended, or his management was offended. They were like, oh, we get it. American Idol, Billy Idol. We
Oh,
you want him to play the English guy. And that show wasn't as popular as it was. It was like maybe on for what, a year or two, I
yeah.
guess, in America. It wasn't like, I mean, it was big, but it wasn't. Either way, we offended him, I heard, and they wasn't going to let us release the song. And we already had tickets booked, like from LA to Australia, or whatever it was, or Japan. It was a big deal. And like, I think last minute they approved it and they squashed whatever. But there was a discrepancy in the beginning that I guess we we offended him.
Oh no.
It was just whoever. It wasn't like we said, "Hey Billy, will you do this?" It was somebody, probably the video people. It was like, "Oh well, hey, would you want to do this? And we want you to be the asshole." Oh, really? You want me to? You know what I mean? Like, who knows? But I get it. But I did meet Steve Stevens at Download in the UK when we played at Billy Idol, and he was aware of the song, loved it, thought it was great. I mean, he wrote that song, So,
Yes.
but yeah, everything was cool, but it was just another one of those weird stories.
Oh man, that's awesome. But it's a bummer. But hopefully you'll bump into him one day.
Yeah,
I just finished his book and he seemed like a really cool dude. So
He seems, yeah, I'm sure he's great. And if he was offended, I'm sure it was something dumb on our end, not on his side. He wasn't any uptight or anything. It was just those video directors didn't do what I wanted anyway, so I'm gonna blame it on them.
yeah,
So
not your fault. Not your fault.
yeah.
But I know I'm running out of time here, but I did have two more questions. Just one
Okay.
real quick one. New album? Is there new material in the on the way?
Uh, we are going to. I am going to start working on. I just got home 2 days ago, and I'm super excited to pick up my guitar and start working on some stuff because this Murder Dolls music has definitely sparked that tone and music in me. So, when I do start writing, uh, my plan is to start writing in between the tours. And this summer, we'll probably get together, put the music together, record it, and it'll be out for a early 2025 release. But people are asking, what's it going to sound like? And all I can say is we're doing this Murder Dolls music, and it's brought that style back up. So I think you're going to hear a huge reflection of that in the number 10 Wednesday 13 album. I cannot believe it. I'm on number 10. Jesus. I'm like Beetlejuice now. I gotta have the dust off me.
I love, man, I'm keen for that new movie. Anyway, in the meantime, Wednesday, it's always good to catch up with you, my man. We'll have
Yes.
all the links down here and on the website. Brother, you and your family have a wonderful holidays, and we will see you in the new year.
Thank you very much. Same to you.